suspected cases of genital TB to prove tubal occlusion after insertion of transcervical sterilization like a short or micro insert. তুমি কাজ করে তুমি এদিকে বসে যাও, পড়তে পারবে না, তো এদিকে চলে এসো, চেয়ারটা এই চেয়ারটা সামনে ওদিকে করে দাও, তো ওদিকে করে দাও, ওদিকে বসো। And in some cases it has therapeutic role also in increasing the probability of pregnancy. If any tubal spasm is there or mild blockage is there, it can be released by using HSG. We push dye, and by pushing the dye we are pushing the liquid, and if mild occlusion is there, it can be opened by using HSG only. So it has some in very less cases, but it has some therapeutic potential also. What are the contraindication? In which cases you will not do that? Most important is suspected pregnancy. That's why if any doubt is there, so first you will rule out pregnancy. You will do what you will do to rule out pregnancy? SCG. Which test you will do? Blood, serum beta HCG, urine pregnancy test. Very good. So in daycare basis, first you will do UPT, you will rule out pregnancy, then you can proceed for HSG. And any active pelvic infection, okay, or any active vaginal bleeding, that's why it is not done during menstruation. In which period it is done? Is which time? Tell me the time. There is exact timing. Can it be done in day 3 of menses? Day 6 of menses? Day 6 is proliferative? Or say day 13 of menses? It is done just after menses. You are right, in proliferative phase, but there is a time limit. Usually we do from day 7 to day 11. We don't do before that, we don't do after that, because after that there is chance of pregnancy, and before that there is chance of some blood present in the cavity that can cause further aggravate the infection. That's why that is not done just during the menses and during the ovulation period. In between that it is done. Any active vaginal bleeding, recent DNC, immediate pre and post menstrual period, tubal or uterine surgery within last 6 weeks, any history of contrast sensitivity. Which dye is used in HSG? Do you know the name of the dye? Urographin. Nowadays it is water soluble dye is used, that is urographin. But in every case, usually if there is a history of any sensitivity, so you should check for the sensitivity before. You should do the pre test, or sensitivity test should be done before doing HSG. But usually we don't do if there is no history. Earlier when we used to use the oil soluble dye, there the chances of reaction was very high. That in that cases you should do sensitivity test. Patient preparation done in the first half of the cycle from day 8 to day 12, or we say day 7 to day 11 normally we do. Patient should avoid unprotected sexual intercourse from the date of her period until investigation is done, to avoid any possible risk of pregnancy. If periods are irregular, do urine beta HCG test or UPT test to rule out pregnancy. Exclude any active pelvic infection. Achha, suppose you have called a patient and you have gone for the HSG. You took the patient for the HSG. On the table you saw that there is white discharge, and when you are doing PV there is severe tenderness. Will you proceed for HSG? She had already paid for the HSG procedure, and she is fully prepared. I will do this in this cycle. So what you will do? She told you ki I have already paid, you have to do. Will you do it or not? You are the you are in say gynae first year, or second year, usually they only do. So you have pressure from above ki this should be done in this particular day. Patient said ki I have already paid, I have paid the money for the procedure, and now doctor you have to do. And but when you examine it, there is severe white discharge, large amount of white discharge, and she is having severe tenderness on doing PV. Will you proceed for the procedure or not? Huh? बोलो. No. पीछे. No. Why? पेशेंट तो बोलेगा हमारा मनी वापस करो, और सीनियर तुमको डांटेगा तुमने किया नहीं. No, you will not do, because patient safety and your safety is first. Obviously, when if dye portion active infection, she is having tenderness, and that means there is active infection. It can where it can go, the infection can go in the peritoneal cavity. नहीं जो, हैं? Non injection. नहीं never. It can go in the peritoneal cavity. The infection can go in the peritoneal cavity. It can make the case worse. That's why you will explain the patient ki it's for your good only. We can do the procedure in the next cycle, or you will arrange for the refund, or ask her to take this. Ask the authorities to take the same slip in the next visit. Like she has paid and got the slip, she can use in the next visit. Okay. But you will never, whatever be the case, you will never do in active infection, because if the patient dies of that infection, you will be sued. Okay. Prophylactic antibiotics not routinely recommended, but can be considered if any you doubt, if you have any doubt that she is having slight discharge, there is slight tenderness, then you can advise the prophylactic antibiotic before the procedure. Normally, it should be, if prophylactic antibiotic is given, it should be started around 2 to 3 days before the procedure, and should be completed just after 2 to 3 days after the procedure. Like 5 to 6 days course is required if any prophylactic antibiotic is required. How the procedure is done, informed consent is taken. ये सब बहुत important है. अभी सीनियर्स का एग्जाम हो, तुम लोग का सीनियर्स का एग्जाम हो, उसमें ये सब पॉइंट ही नहीं बोल पा रहे सीनियर. Consent is very important. In any procedure, informed consent. You will properly explain the patient that this procedure needs to be done. Is she ready for that or not? What informed consent you will take in this patient? You will explain the procedure. You will show the instrument. This instrument will be inserted. First I will insert this instrument like Sims speculum. Then I will use this HSG cannula in the cervix, and this dye will be pushed inside, and you might feel slight pain. We have you can give any analgesics or any pain spasmodic pain reliever for that. You can explain that to patient, because if during the procedure patient is having pain, then she will tell you later on कि डॉक्टर साहब ने तो कुछ बताया ही नहीं, pain होगा कि नहीं होगा, and she jumped from the table during the procedure. It might hurt her, or it might also ruin the procedure, because X-ray film is being taken. So you have to explain everything beforehand. That is the informed consent. You will what you will ask other thing. You will first ask the patient to lie down. You will examine the patient. Where you will stand? Right side of the patient, and you will explain the whole procedure. If required, you can take the sign also. Then what else you will tell her? If you will feel any pain and any you are not comfortable or any problem is there, you will interrupt me during. You can interrupt me during the procedure and tell me what your problem is. You can tell me at any point of the procedure. You can tell me if she is having any problem or not. You will explain it to that. Or if she is having severe pain, or she can't tolerate the procedure, we will stop at that point only. If you ask us, you will explain that all that to patient. What else you require during the procedure? तुम कर रहे हो मान लो procedure, तो क्या और क्या required होगा? You have taken consent. You are standing on the right side. We explained the procedure. What else is required? You will alone do the procedure? Which assistant, male or female? फीमेल, वेरी गुड. ये सब एग्जाम में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स, इसके लिए बहुत स्टूडेंट्स के मार्क्स कट गए. हाँ, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. You will have take the consent, you will explain the procedure, you will have a female attendant with you. Even if you are female doctor also, you will take one female attendant with you. Okay, आजकल कुछ नहीं, मेल फीमेल कुछ नहीं होता है, सब केस में सेफ रहना है, फीमेल अटेंडेंट हमेशा साथ में रहना चाहिए. And or one more thing you will ask her to empty her bladder before the procedure. Okay, that is very important. In doing any examination, any OPD examination, any OPD procedure, you will ask the patient to evacuate her bladder. Apart from one procedure जिसमें नहीं बोलोगे evacuate करने, USG, USG abdomen, you will ask her to fill her bladder, or she should be full bladder before the procedure. Okay. Patient is asked to empty a bladder immediately before the procedure. Scout film may be taken. What is scout film? SCOUT. Spelling is wrong. What is scout film? Film taken just before the procedure started. Clean X-ray is taken of the pelvis. If any other abnormalities there, we can compare. मानो कि कुछ whitish dot आ गए side में, हाँ, तो you will feel कि there is some problem in the HSG. But when you compare with the scout film, that they were already present, and there were calcification in the pelvic bone. So you can compare that. That's why you have to do one scout film, or the film before the procedure is started. Patient is placed in the lithotomy position. The perineum is cleaned with antiseptic solution, betadine, and draped with sterile towel. The cervix is localized and cleansed with povidone iodine solution. A speculum inserted into the vagina. अच्छा, इसमें कौन सा speculum use करोगे? Sims or Cuscos? This is an OPD procedure. Sims ki Cuscos. You have to insert some other cannula also. HSG cannula, other cannula you have to insert. So better we normally take Sims, because there is proper space to use LEs. You have to use LEs to hold the cervix. Then you will you might need to dilate the cervix. If it is not dilated, you will use the dilator, Hegar's dilator or Das dilator. Sequential dilatation will be done. Then after that, you will insert the HSG cannula. It is very big cannula, na? So in Cuscos, we are not able to use so many instruments at once. That's why if any different instrument insertion is required, in that cases you will use Sims speculum. If any just one, like in pap smear, only Cuscos is required. There's no Sims speculum is not required. Okay? Depending on the procedure, like in DNC or MPA, Sims is required, because this much space is required for inserting the other instruments. Okay, using the other instruments. Sims speculum is inserted into the vagina. Cervix is cannulated with any of the available cannulas and made AFE before administration of contrast. There are different cannulas which can be used. Tenaculum can be used, or LEs can be used. Speculum is then it is used to hold the anterior lip of cervix. Speculum is removed and patient is placed in slight tendril position and contrast is slowly given. Normally 10 ml contrast is available to be slowly pushed. First 3 ml, or we in fact 5 ml can be pushed in early phase. Then after that, more 3 ml, then 3 ml, then 3 ml. Total like 9 to 10 ml can be pushed. 4 spot films are taken. Additional oblique views may be taken for optimal visualization of pelvic pathology and tortuous fallopian tubes. If any pathology is found, then, or if you already know there is some pathology, then you can take the oblique film. Normally we don't take oblique film. We just take 4 normal spot films. After end of the procedure, antibiotic course is given and patient is informed about the vaginal spotting for 1-2 days. Slight spotting is normal. You will explain that to patient. After the procedure, there can be slight bleeding, slight spotting, that is absolutely normal. There can be slight pain, that is absolutely normal. But if bleeding is more, or if white discharge is more or pain is more, then she has to report to the hospital in that case, or in case of emergency. Complication: pain because of the dilatation of uterus, spillage into the peritoneum of the dye, and infection, pelvic infection can be there, bleeding can be there, vascular lymphatic intravasation or extravasation can be there, vasovagal episode. In some patient, there can be vasovagal episode. The moment you insert the dye, push the dye, there is vasovagal syncope. In that cases, you have already explained the patient about the procedure, then you are safe. If you have not explained the patient about this, you are not safe. That's why pre-counseling or informed consent is very important. If she is having any problem, if she is feeling any dizziness, any problem, she should tell you at that moment only. जब पूरा push कर दिया उसके बाद patient भी बेहोश हो गया तो क्या मतलब वो procedure करने का, ठीक है? इसलिए जैसे उसको थोड़ा दिक्कत हुआ तभी बोलना है stop, doctor stop. You will stop the procedure, you will abandon that procedure, and it will be done some other day. Okay, that's the rule. Or if she is not telling, she is feeling dizzy but she is not able to tell you I'm feeling dizzy, and the end patient is unconscious. So better कि patient को explain, already inform consent and explain the procedure, full procedure. Pregnancy irradiation, if patient is pregnant, it is very rare. Allergic reaction and uterine perforation, that is also very rare. These are the two contrast media normally used. Nowadays we only use water soluble contrast, that is a meglumine diatrizoate urographin. 60 to 70% urographin is used. Ampullary rugae clearly visualized, gets absorbed within hours, does not leave any residue. Granuloma formation is rare. Pain persists after the procedure. There is one complication with this type. And prompt demonstration of tubal patency, delayed film not needed. Widely used and preferred nowadays. Earlier used to be lipid soluble contrast or Lapidol. Sharp image was there, minimal pain, delayed, but there was delayed absorption and risk of lipogranuloma formation in cases with tubal block or hydrosulfanes. Intervention of contrast and possible risk of oil embolism was there. That's why these are not used nowadays. Here, this is the Leach-Wilkinson cannula, HSG cannula, this is tenaculum, or in case Alice can also be used, Hegar's dilator. Here, Cuscos is in the picture, but normally we use Sims and sponge holding to clean the area. Different types of cannula, Leach-Wilkinson cannula or HSG cannula, Econ tip metallic cannula, cervical vacuum cup, or even Foley's catheter. Small size Foley's catheter can also be used, like 12 number Foley's catheter or 8 number Foley's catheter can also be used for the HSG procedure, or pediatric Foley's catheter. This is the cervical vacuum cup cannula. Here it is inserted in the cervix, and this is the cup which holds the dye spills outside, and through this dye is inserted. This is the Econ tip metallic cannula. This portion is inserted in the cervix and dye is pushed from this side. And the HSD cannula which we normally use is similar to this only. Here markings are there in the HSD cannula. Serial markings are there. It is conical in shape and similar to this one. We insert or push the dye from this end, and this end is inserted in the cervical os. This is the balloon catheter. This is the normal HSG. Okay. The uterine cavity is shown during HSG as a triangular contrast filling structure with its base on the top. This is the base on the top and apex lower down or caudally. That is inverted triangle. This is the normal uterus. Okay, this is the normal uterus seen in the HSG film. This HSG is X-ray or USG? X-ray. X-ray film is taken. But that is timing is there. Like the moment you push the dye, the technician has to take the film. Interval 5 minutes interval normally taken. One scout film is taken. Then when you push 3 to 4 ml, then one film is taken. And after that you push 3 to 4 ml, then another film. Total 4 films are taken. Uterine fundus on the top, which can be flattened, concave or slightly convex. Free spillage of the contrast to the peritoneum is noted, and how the fallopian tubes are seen, that is noted. This is the normal HSG. 4 spot films are taken. One is early phase, just uterus is starting to fill. Then uterus is fully distended. In this film, any of the SOL, uterine SOL or uterine abnormality can be detected in this film. Uterus when a uterus is fully distended. Then the third film, tubal filling phase, here you can detect any tubal anomalies present or not. And lastly, the peritoneal spillage. If spillage is there, that means the bilateral tubes are patent. Detected, what else you can detect in uterine? Any uterine anomaly, any fibroid. What else you can detect? Uterus में बोलो क्या क्या detect कर सकते हो? Uterus, Huh? Uterine fibroid, endometrial fibroid, or say intramural fibroid or submucosal fibroid. Mainly submucosal fibroid or any endometrial polyp you can detect. And what else? Any uterine synecdoche if present, or any filling defect if present, that should be seen compared. First film is compared with the last film. If the filling defect is gone, that means that was air bubble. If the filling defect is present in all the 4 films, that means it is a SOL. What can be the SOL? If it is large, it can be uterine fibroid, that is submucosal fibroid, or if it is small, then it can be endometrial polyp. And any uterine, what else can be detected by HCG? Anomaly, any uterine anomalies, congenital anomalies of the uterus. Like, what names do you know? Or different types of uterine anomalies? Septate uterus and Mullerian anomaly class এখন হয়নি হ্যাঁ গাইনিতে অরূপ মাঝি স্যারের ক্লাস এখন হয়নি Mullerian anomalies হবে এবার আসছে তোমাদের ক্লাস নেক্সট হবে and unicornuate uterus, bicornuate uterus, uterus diadelphus. I will show you later on. These are different uterine anomalies which can be detected by using HSG. HSG is the which one is the better modality to detect uterine anomalies? USG or HSG? हाँ USG ये तो ज़्यादा अच्छा दिखता है सब तो चीज़ तो ये हम लोग USG कराते हैं तो why not anomalies, uterine anomalies? For everything, every pain abdomen, every menstrual irregularity, we advise USG. So, which one is better, USG or HSG for any uterine anomaly? USG is better or HSG is better? HSG, because in USG, you can't specifically see the intrauterine, the demarcations you can't see. In HSG, there is proper demarcation you can see. If unicornate है unicornate ही दिखेगा तुमको, अगर bicornate है bicornate दो दिखेंगे, proper सुंदर beautiful picture is there. But in USG there is always some slight confusion. It is not confirmatory. But the at last confirmatory is after suppose in HSG you have seen something like it is bicornuate, but there is always a doubt that is it can be septate or bicornuate. Both will result in the same approx same picture in the HSG. So how you will confirm it is bicornuate or septate uterus? You have done HSG, there is doubt कि it can be bicornuate or septate uterus. So how you will confirm कि bicornuate है कि septate है? You will do laparoscopy by direct visualization. If there is 2 horns, that means that is bicornuate. If this uterus is normal shape, from outside, that is there is septum inside present. That will be confirmed further on by doing hysteroscopy. Hysteroscopy, you can see septa. So that will be confirmed on laparohysteroscopy. But for first foremost investigation is HSG. Without HSG, you will not come to know there is anomaly present or not. This is the normal HSG. What you can see, uterine anomalies, any fibroid, submucosal adenomyosis, endometrial polyp, intrauterine adenosynecdoche, endometrial TB, cervical incompetence. What that term is called as or syndrome is called as intrauterine adhesion plus infertility. If a patient is having is infertile and having intrauterine adhesion or synecdoche confirmed on HSG, what that syndrome is called? In tubal, what you can see, tubal block, tubal spasm, tubal polyp, hydrosalpinx, salpingitis ischemic nodosum, peritubal adhesion, TB salpingitis. What are the non-pathological findings that are not pathological? Air bubble can be there, normal myometrial fold can be seen, prominent cervical glands can be seen, previous cesarean section scar can be seen. Luminal filling defects include air bubble, uterine fold, synecdoche, endometrial polyp, submucosal fibroid. These are the air bubbles. How you can confirm it is air bubble or not? We will compare the first film with the last film. If these are not persisting, then they are air bubbles. Like here, it was air bubble was there. It is in the second film also, but in last film it has gone. That means it was air bubble. Here you can see here it is the dark, more hyper echoic, and here it is hypoechoic. This is more white, this is less white, है ना? These are the uterine folds or myometrial folds. These are the cervical glands, prominent cervical glands. This is a normal finding. And here a previous cesarean section scar was there. There is a niche over here. This is the normal finding in any case of post cesarean section. This is the what you can see here. Uterine cavity में कुछ problem है? Any problem in uterine cavity? No, it is normal, triangular shape. Here you can see the tubes, and here you can see the spillage, peritoneal spillage. Here it is. This side is normal, but what you can see here, right side, क्या दिख रहा है? Normal है? There is block. So you can see tubal block or corneal block over the right side. Okay. What you can see here? This is uterine cavity is normal. Tubes. Can you see the tubes? No. This is bilateral tubal block. Okay. There is no peritoneal spillage. So first, how you will start the explanation of any HSG film इस बार दिया था एग्जाम में था सीनियर्स बैच में. Normally film पहले दिया था, लेकिन बहुत से students were not able to tell कि क्या क्या है. So first you will explain the uterine cavity. How is the contour? It is normal or abnormal? Any space occupying lesion is there or not? Then you will proceed to the cornua. This is normal. Then proceed to the tubes. Tubes are normal or not? Any swelling is there, so there can be hydrocephalus. Any beaded appearance is there, there can be TB. And if spillage after the your femoral end of tube is there or not? If many times dye you can see up to the femora, after that you can't see the dye, there is no spillage. That means that is femoral block. And if you can just see the cornua, you can't see the thin tube, that means it is a corneal block, bilateral corneal block. And if the spillage is proper, that means bilateral spillage is there. Okay, so you will explain from the uterus, then cornua, then tube, then femora, then last peritoneal spillage is there or not. अच्छा, ये जो deviated from, ज़्यादातर तो फिल्म में तुमने सीधा देखा ना, straight था. This is normal, abnormal, deviation, normal. If everything is normal, then you will say this is normal. If you can see the uterus proper contour, there is tubes, the free spillage is there, then even if it is deviated on any one side, you will say this is normal HSG. Deviation doesn't matter. But if any block is there and say any tubal adhesion is there, then in that case you will say this is abnormal HSG. These are the different uterine anomalies: partial complete agenesis, unicornuate uterus, diadelphys, bicornuate. Bicornuate is of two types: unicollis and bicollis. Septate uterus, arcuate uterus, DS associated anomalies. This is the different types of unicornuate. This is the communicating horn. This is the one cornua that is communicating with the main uterus, and this is non-communicating. There is no communication. And there is no cavity in this accessory horn, and there is no accessory horn is present. Only the one side uterine cavity is there. Unicornuate uterus is there. There is no accessory communicating horn. This is a unicornuate uterus. There is one tube. You can see this is the tube, and this is the free spillage on that side. Okay. Here it is unicornuate, and spillage is there. This is the fallopian tube and spillage is there. Here this is unicornuate, only one cornua is there, and but HSG cannot be used to exclude the presence of a non-communicating rudimentary horn. If there is no communication, obviously dye will not go to that horn, so HSG will not confirm that. In that case, you have to do MRI. MRI will confirm it. This is the uterus diadelphys. Diadelphys, everything will be 2. Diadelphys means everything will be 2. There will be 2 uterine cavities, 2 cervical canals and 2 vagina. Okay. Non-fusion of the 2 Mullerian ducts. This is the uterus diadelphys. 2 uterine cavity, 2 cervix and 2 vaginal. You can't differentiate over here because dye was pushing both of them. That means there is no differentiating septum is there, but it is uterus diadelphys. That you can confirm by doing PV examination also. अगर vagina में septum है बीच में, two you can see the 2 openings of vagina, so you can confirm that by you doing PV examination. Rest is confirmed by this doing HSG. 2 horns are there. This is the uterus diadelphys, 2 uterus. Okay. This is uterus diadelphys. This is MRI film of the uterus diadelphys. This is bicornuate unicollis. What is the difference here? There is 1 cervical canal. Okay. There is incomplete fusion of the cephalate extent of the uterovaginal horns with absorption of the uterovaginal septum. This is bicornuate unicollis. This is bicornuate bicollis. What do you mean by bicollis? There is 2 cervical canal. Okay. And unicollis, only 1 cervical canal is there. This bicornuate uterus. How you can differentiate between bicornuate and septate? Huh? This is the septum, septate uterus, and this is the bicornuate. Between the degree between the two end of the uterus is more than 100 degree. Okay, the 2 uterine horns, the angle between them is more than 100 degree in bicornuate, but it is less than 100 degree or acute angle is there in the septate uterus, because septum is very small, so angle will be very less. And there is distance between the 2 cornua. If it is more than 5 centimeter, approx more than 5 centimeter, that means it is bicornuate. In normal uterus, septate uterus, the distance will be not more than 5 centimeter. Okay, between the 2 cornuas. These are the 2 cornuas. And the angle. These are the 2 things important. That will be confirmed on laparoscopy. This is uterus diadelphys and it is uterus bicornuate uterus bicollis. Bicollis means 2 cervical canal, only 1 vagina. Here 2 uterus, 2 cervix, 2 vagina. This DS related uterine anomalies, the hypoplastic T-shaped uterus. Hypoplastic T-shaped uterus. What was the problem? The patient had been exposed to DS while in utero. Okay, that's why it is banned or teratogenic. Arcuate uterus. Here you can see just a slight depression on the uterine fundus. This is arcuate uterus. This is septate uterus. This is incomplete absorption of the final fibrous septum between the 2 uterine horns. This is the complete septa and this is the partial septa. The most common cause of mid-trimester abortion. If MCQ comes ki, which is the most common cause of abortion in the following 4 options diye, bicornuate, unicornuate, one is septate and one is arcuate. What will be your answer? Most common cause of miscarriage. कौन सा होगा? Unicornuate, bicornuate, septate or your arcuate. Septate is the most common cause. Okay, because the bicornuate may, if pregnancy is any one of the horn, it will progress normally. In some cases there is history of abortion or the period of gestation increases with every abortion. One patient was here in this college only. One patient came that she said ki I had 2 abortions, or abortion nahi exactly, that it will not be abortion. First pregnancy was about 6 months gestational age, and she delivered. Preterm delivery was there. Second pregnancy extended up to 7 months of gestational age. Then she delivered and baby died. So she is P2+0 with no living issue. So that she is having bicornuate uterus. Why it happens? Because by further sequential pregnancy, the size of the uterine cavity increases, the capacity of the cavity increases, and normally these patients are able to conceive after second or third pregnancy. If not, then unification may be required. Okay, so this is very common in bicornuate, but normally normal pregnancy goes on. Many patients don't know if they had bicornuate uterus. They delivered normally. When doing hysterectomy, we came to see that bicornuate uterus was there. They didn't know that bicornuate uterus was there. Because every pregnancy went smoothly. She delivered vaginally. There was no problem because the sac was in the one of the horns and it progressed normally. Destination was normal. This is the septate uterus. This is a separate septa in between. This is the septate. There is acute angle between the two horns. Okay, this acute angle, but in the there it is wide angle. Okay, more than 100 degree, and distance is more than 5 centimeter, and here distance is less than 5 centimeter between the two cornua. Okay, the septate uterus, same acute angle. This is adenomyosis, irregular outline, multiple diverticulomas there. What is this? There is a filling defect. This is multiple filling defects. This is fibroid uterus, submucosal fibroid. This is also a filling defect, that is submucosal myoma. Salpingitis ischemic nodosa is the outpouching of the isthmus, unilateral or bilateral, unknown cause, associated with infertility, PID, ectopic pregnancy. Here you can see a small outpouching of the diverticula from the isthmic portion of the fallopian tubes. It can be either unilateral or bilateral. This is the left salpingitis ischemic nodosum. It is seen in the isthmic portion of the fallopian tube. Multiple outpouching is there. What is this? What is this? Huh? This is hydrosalpinx on one side, right side. Okay. This is unicornuate or bicornuate, that will be confirmed on different other films. It seems that it is unicornuate, but on different other films it was confirmed that this is not unicornuate, it was normal uterus. Okay, but on one side hydrosalpinx was present. For to confirm any diagnosis, you have to see all the 4 films, not just one film. This is bilateral hydrosalpinx, dilatation of the tubes on both the ends. This is bilateral hydrosalpinx. This is the normal uterine cavity. Here it is normal fallopian tube, but at the end there is dilatation. That is hydrosalpinx. What is this? Here uterine cavity is normal, but dye is not able to go after the cornua, the bilateral cornual block. What is this? Bilateral hydrosalpinx. Here it is depression on the uterine fundus. This is arcuate uterus. What is this? There is a filling defect over here. This is submucosal myoma. This is the normal uterine cavity, no spillage after the cornua, that is tubal blockage. Here you can see slight tube can be seen. That way it is bilateral tubal blockage. What is this? This is tubal polyp, a small filling defect you can see here in the tube. This is tubal polyp. This is also tubal polyp, filling defect in the tube. This is left hydrosalpinx, and this side this is tubal ligation. Dye is not able to go after that. This is tubal ligation. Dye is not able to go after this. This is a case of parietal tubal ligation. Here you can see uterus and dye is going up to the tube, but after that there is a collection of the dye, localized collection of the dye. Why it happened? Because of the peritubal adhesion. Dye is not able to spill properly in the peritoneum. Okay, there is no proper spillage, free spillage. That's why it was peritubal adhesion. Synecdoche. Multiple synecdoche, intrauterine synecdoche plus infertility is known as Asherman syndrome. Okay, in which cases it can happen? Asherman syndrome. In which cases it can happen? Asherman syndrome. किस केस में होता है? If patient had history of multiple dilatation and evacuation, dilatation of curettage specifically, in that cases, because curettage is done in multiple times, there is chance of fibrosis and synecdoche, intrauterine synecdoche. That's why if any infertility patient presents to you with miscarriage, don't straight away go for the curettage. We normally go for suction evacuation or the MVA. After that, if there is any remaining products, then you can use the curettage, but that also gently. Don't do vigorous curettage in an infertile patient or who don't have any living issue. Because they were earlier used to seen that if patient had multiple dilatation and curettage, they finally resulted in Asherman syndrome. Intrauterine adhesion, post-curettage and infection, linear filling defects arising from one of the uterine walls. This is the oval filling defect because of the synecdoche. This is the typical picture of the Asherman syndrome. Okay, proper synecdoche is there, multiple irregular filling defects. Proper cavity can't be seen in this case. You have to see which instrument is used here. This is the catheter. This is the balloon of the catheter. So you have to see that also. What instrument was used to push the dye. This is the balloon catheter. This is the left corneal spasm, but this is not proper corneal spasm. Normally, if corneal spasm is there, it will be bilateral, not unilateral, because this both the tubes will go into spasm equally. That will be the tubal bilateral corneal spasm. If unilateral spillage is there, that means that is not spasm, that is the left side blockage. Here you can see the block over this cornua and free spillage on the other right side. This side is normal, but this side is corneal block. Here, this is the case of bilateral tubal ligation. There is no spillage after this point bilaterally. This is the vascular intravasation. Here, dot dot dot, you can see the dye has intravassated into the vessels. That is vascular intravasation. Otherwise, the film is normal. Okay, otherwise the film is normal. There is proper uterine cavity, there is tube normal and peritoneal spillage bilaterally present. That is normal film. Apart from these things, this is normal film. This is the scout film for the intra-tubal microinsert or Assure. These are the microinsert done for the contraception. That is done hysteroscopically, and that is confirmed. The tubal block is confirmed or occlusion is confirmed after doing HSG. There is no spillage of dye after this point. That means the procedure is successful. There is no chance of pregnancy after this. The HSG finding genital tuberculosis. When you will study that, you have been taught na genital TB chapter lecture already taken na by Dr. Sohan Mohammed. There is proper terms for each of the findings in HSG. It is very beautiful pictures are there, like beaded tube, golf club. These are the all MCQ questions also. In your MCQ, NEET MCQ, these all comes. Pipe stem tube, cobblestone tube, leopard skin tube, hydrosalpinx can be there, mucosal thickening can be there, peritubal adhesion can be there, T-shaped uterus can be there, trifoliate uterus can be there, endometritis can be there, synecdoche, distortion of the uterine contour, and intra-externalization can be there. What is this? This is the tufted tube or rosette-like appearance. This multiple small diverticle-like appearance surrounding the ampulla produced by the caseous ulceration of the tube inside the tube there is cases ulceration, that's why this appearance comes. Okay, जहाँ पे ulceration होगा वहाँ पे cavity हो गए, वहाँ जाके dye fill कर गया. That's why due to cases ulceration, due to granuloma formation, different findings are due to that only. But there is the name for the proper appearance. The different appearance have been given different name, but the cause is the same. Like the ulceration is there, there is granuloma formation in the tube. That's all gives rise to these different appearance. Okay. This is the TB SIN like systemic ischemic nodosa. The same. A penetration of the contrast medium between the mucosal fold produces small diverticle-like outpouching with a bizarre pattern. This is the cotton wool plug appearance. Distribution of the contrast medium, the reticular pattern producing a cotton wool plug, like cotton wool. This is the beaded tube, like beads. They are beads. This is the peculiar finding in the TB, genital TB. Multiple constriction along the fallopian tube give rise to beaded appearance. This is also beaded. This is the golf club tube. ये सब questions बहुत ज़्यादा आते हैं MCQ में तुम लोग. Circulation of the board tube in distal portion with the associated hydrosalpinx gives a golf club appearance. There is hydrosalpinx and there is circulation at the end. Appears like golf. This is pipe stem appearance. There is proper thinning. Absence of normal tortuosity and a curved straight pipe-like appearance showing fibrotic stage of the TB, salpingitis. This fibrosis and it has become straight and pipe-like. Irregular contour of the uterine cavity with diminished capacity in the fundal portion resembling a separate uterus. This is not separate uterus, but there is irregular contour of the uterus because of the TB. There is fibrosis in the uterine cavity, there is fibrosis in the tube. That's why pipe stem appearance. This is floral appearance. This is leopard skin appearance. There is hyperechoic, this is hypoechoic. Multiple rounded filling defects following intraluminal granuloma formation within the hydrosalpinx resembling a leopard skin appearance. This is cobblestone appearance. Cobblestone appearance और कहाँ पड़ा है? हाँ? Conjunctivitis, हाँ, very good. और कहीं पड़ा है? उसमें भी MCQ आता है तुम्हारा आई वाले में. Interluminal scarring of the tubes give rise to cobblestone-like appearance, which is an effective radiographic sign of interluminal adhesion. This is Cox tube appearance, vertically fixed tube secondary to dense peritubular adhesion. Because of the peritubular adhesion, the tubes are vertically placed and curved. They are not able to come in the proper horizontal position. Dense connective tissue causes the lack of tubal mobility. The hyperconvoluted right tube and manifests a Cox tube-like appearance. Cox tube appearance. This is the peritubal halo. The thickening of the tubal walls due to peritubal adhesion represents a cloudy sign of hydrosalpingographs. This finding is a non-specific feature of tuberculosis. This is tobacco pouch appearance. This is your intrauterine adhesion. Okay. This is your pseudo-unicondyloid. This is pseudo-unicondyloid. This is irregular. That's why it is a pseudo and it's a smooth outline. This is proper to unicondyloid uterus. This T shape of the TB because there is irregularity in the cavity, and this is deacedated T-shaped uterus. Because here is proper peritoneal spillage is there, but here there is no peritoneal spillage is there. This trifoliate appearance of the uterus, 1, 2, 3. What can be the cause of false positive? Due to tubal spasm and inadequate contrast injection. Many times there is no proper injection. कई बार होता है cervix is much dilated, you are not able to push the dye, hold of the dye inside, dye comes outside. So there is no proper filling of the cavity, and you might think that dye has not spilled in the peritoneal cavity, but the dye didn't go inside. So many times if patient is like multiparous, she is having secondary infertility, she already had abortion and DNC was done. The many times due to injury, the cervix os is much open or wide. So in that case, when you use the cannula, there is no proper block of the internal os, and dye can spill outside, come outside. So when you have pushed the 10 ml, but actually only 5 ml has gone inside. So that in that case, you will see up to the cornua or up to the some part of tube, you can see the dye, and you can when you see the final film, you assume that there is tubal block, but actually that is not the thing. That is the false positive. Okay, there is tubal spasm. When tubal spasm occurs, when patient is very apprehensive, patient is having so much pain, the smooth muscles around the tube go into spasm. That is a tubal spasm. So that's why before HSG, many times we give Dotin tablet or Dotin injection. We counsel the patient. We ask the patient to relax. And a Buscopan can be given to relax the smooth muscles to avoid the tubal spasm. What are the causes of false negative? Due to undetected peritubal adhesion, because you can't see what is happening in the peritoneum. There can be peritubal adhesion, but you can't see. So false negative, you say everything is fine, this HSG film is fine, there is no problem. But when you see the laparoscopy, you saw there is much dense adhesion is there in the abdomen, and that's why patient is not able to conceive due to adhesions. Dilated hydrosalpinx. When hydrosalpinx is there, but dye has gone up to that part only. So you can't see the whole hydrosalpinx, you thought this is normal tube. Okay, so that's why these are the causes of false negative. But it is superior to laparoscopy for detecting intrinsic tubal and uterine pathology. Both are complementary, and to make any diagnosis, final diagnosis, obviously you need both of them. You need HSG also, you need laparoscopy also to make the final diagnosis.